Good day, guys. How y'all doing today? This is Nathaniel Evans from I Am the Data with my partner, Jeannie Muhammad. Yo, I'm going to tell you, it's always amazing to connect with everybody and do this every single week. I don't know, people understand that, doing this every single week it's not a strong feat, and it's not a simple thing, man. You know, it takes dedication, devotion, even insight, you know what I'm saying, on basically what people might want to listen to or talk about. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a psychic, so I really don't know, like, what everybody want to hear and don't want to hear. I'm out here doing my best, you know what I mean, with my great co-host Jeannie, and we just find different ways, and methods to connect. Some things work, some don't, but this is what we here. We here to actually live and learn, and actually use this platform, I'm a Data, to a higher plateau. And with that, I'm gonna let Jeannie go, and I'm gonna take care of some little technical stuff on this end, and we ready to go.
Peace and blessings, everyone. I am Jeannie Muhammad, your global happiness expert. I am overjoyed to be here with you this week. I focus on happiness. Nathaniel and I know that the combination of leadership, his focus is leadership, mine is happiness, but that combination works well together. If you're a happy leader, and you're really enjoying what you do and you have a true concept of what leadership is, then you are living a life of joy, peace, and happiness. So I focus on helping people that have challenges in their lives, and they have been, they've let those challenges overcome them to the point that they're no longer enjoying the happiness that this life has to offer. So
Mm.
that's my focus. And I know that people have a power within them, that once that power is activated and they act on that power, then they will find that God within, and they will be able to achieve so much in this life and find that they are really the architect of their happiness.
Mm.
So I the sub our I want to start off with gratitude. That is one of the greatest gifts, I say, that our creator has given us in order to activate and help maintain that power within, is gratitude. I am grateful. I am always mindful of Nathaniel and the work that he put in on the back end and the front end, because this is the front end of achieving our success with this podcast. As he said, and I look at people that do this every day, I'm I take my hat off to them, because it's not an easy thing to maintain and be consistent and persistent with doing this on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis. So I take my hat off, and I am grateful for that example of what persistence and consistency can bring about. So, and I'm grateful for this day. I'm just grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for the opportunity to come to you one more time. So please subscribe to our channel, our YouTube channel. And if Nathaniel will put up that information, I will. We you can subscribe to our channel and support us in our endeavor to always bring you relevant information that will help elevate you to another level and help raise your tone scale to and your vibration. So our topic for today is, when is your win? WIN. When is your win? Wonderful subject. And Nathaniel, did you have anything else to add to what I've said before we actually get into this?
I mean, yeah, I'm always have gratitude and grateful. Even from one of our last podcasts, people should check it out. All the baby steps, right? And and gratitude basically is basically like slow crunching numbers, so to speak. It's not something that takes place overnight, right? And when it develops and when you actually obtain it, it's something that you really don't want to sacrifice, to get rid of, right? You want it to always be with you. And one of the great ways that I see Jeannie is able to keep that with her because she's always bringing it to the forefront. So, like, if gratitude was a person, have Jeannie face on it, right? So
Oh,
always talking about gratitude, right? So when
I
you look
know
at
the power of it, Nathaniel. And while we're talking about gratitude, look at my necklace. Everybody, I know that if you're just listening and you're not actually able to view it, but Nathaniel sent me this beautiful necklace as a gift to celebrate my receiving a crown at the crowning of the matriarchs ceremony on May 18th. But he
definitely,
sent me this beautiful necklace with all of these beautiful colors, and it's something. I love colors. I love to, kind of dress in different colors and just this necklace will go with everything I have, all the different colors that I have. And he also sent me this wonderful book. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to try to hold it up. The
yeah, I can see
Art
it
of
now.
War for Women. Nathaniel, this is, thank you so much. This is really empowering me and inspiring me. So I am so grateful for your gift. And I'm so grateful for how timely you are. See, some people will say they're going to do something, and I am been guilty of this and am guilty of this, and don't do it in a timely manner. And so, and that really is important that we do things in a timely manner. So, Nathaniel, thank you so much. I mean, I am awed by these gifts because they're the type of gifts that keep on giving.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. That those are definitely gifts there because we're always in a space to elevate and to show those different spaces of appreciation as we're growing in these different forms in life, right?
Yes.
And we are our worst critics in the world, and a lot of times we don't give ourselves credit. And because of that, we also need other entities, other extensions of who we are and what we represent to actually fill those different voids of misconceptions that we may have about ourselves, or or the right actually the right to actually flourish in the world and actually become I'm saying, this great presence for your own life. It's always good to share your life with other people, right? And it's really nothing wrong with that. That's one of our gifts, to be able to connect and share and, in a sense, verbalize that on so many different levels, right? Even some of us can even connect with each other on basically spiritual levels as well, because I've also had spiritual connections with many different people throughout my life. So with that, we're looking at the concept of when is your win, right? And why is this concept so important in this particular day and time, right? I think that a lot of people, and I look at it a lot in the world, that people forget that we're still in the midst of a pandemic, right? and that this pandemic is, in a sense, unforgiving according to its nature, right? It is not biased as people are in the world, right? It doesn't care about your culture, it doesn't care about your religion, it doesn't care about any of those things, right? All it cares about is once it attaches itself to you, then you're basically at its mercy, right? So we're in a time now where we're actually conveniently forgetting that we're in a space where lives have actually been lost and lives are still being threatened by moving around in certain regions and exposing yourself to certain behaviors and habits. And we not concentrating on basically like who we are and what is the true wins of our lives, right? Is it going to a club? Is it going to a restaurant? Is it actually shopping? All these things that actually allow us to be exposed, right, to things that's actually out here. We actually start have to start paying attention to them, right? So when I look at what is my win, right, I see me being in a space where I can control certain dynamics of who I am, you know, and cultivate who I am in life and not be influenced, right, by all these different entities that's out here that actually have no purpose other than a lot of times the purpose that we actually bestow upon them. So you see me with my clothes Rikers Island shirt. This is, not just a physical, pursuit in the world to change, but this is also a spiritual pursuit to change in the world, right? The fact that we have any type of systems that threaten to take away the form of life after another system created different entities actually create different systems for people to fall into shows actually the true intricate parts of our humanity, right? And it's like, imagine going to get a banana and the Most High poison like half of the trees and you ain't know that,
Mm.
right? Like how would you actually take on that concept of the Most High if he allowing the rain that's actually falling down that cultivate the earth to be poisonous,
Wow.
right? And then you go and take this apple or you take this banana or this pear, you just pass out, right? And then little scientists come out and they start evaluating the soil and they start evaluating the tree and they start evaluating, what I'm saying, the fruit. And they say the Most High did this.
Wow.
Now what? Right? How would man perceive such a trap as this? Like man loves to create traps for others. So how would he perceive a trap being set for him like that?
Mm.
Right? You say you love steak. You love steak, right? And let's say the Most High make you choose what cows is poisonous or not. Like they had a biblical structure in the Bible with Jacob father-in-law, right, had him, tilling the cattle, and he was actually tricking him, out of the cattle. So Jacob basically came with a plot and was like, he painted certain cattle to look like they was blemished when they were not. And the ones that wasn't blemished, the ones that were blemished, he made it seem like they weren't blemished. So when the man came to say what cattle he wanted, he took the ones that actually appeared that they weren't blemished, but they was actually the blemished ones. And Jacob actually took all of the good cattle with him.
Mm.
Man did not realize that until later on, and all that took place against the man because of his misdeeds and his mistreatment, right? And all his ways to beguile that he was actually bestowing upon Jacob actually came back and actually, crushed him on an economical level and
Wow.
also on an egotistical level, right? So when we create systems of harm, right, and when we walk into the system of harm with, you know, great bolstering, what I would say, then we need to understand that this also can be a part of who our legacy is and what our legacy is, as we navigating through these times of misunderstanding, right? We don't know
Yes.
what's going on. Many people would try to make you believe that they know exactly what's going on in the world. And because they may have a platform in the world where they may be successful at, they may make people believe that this level of success that they have on this platform trickles down to every other area of their lives.
Right. And Nathaniel, that goes back to another podcast that we had a few weeks ago about knowledge and knowing. And where do you get your knowledge from? And do we take the time to research and to delve into the things that we are being told so that we have a diverse way of coming to an opinion about something rather than just taking one person's viewpoint of something and running with it. And when we talk about wins and the traps that are set for us, I like to think about not only the big wins, but those small wins that go into making up a big win.
Yeah,
Sometimes we want to maybe I'm just using this as an example. A big win for us may be publishing that first book. But that first book being published doesn't just drop out the sky like abracadabra. Uh, the first win in that book may be just writing the introduction. That may be that first. Well, the first win may be just getting the concept. I mean, you go back to the
and
root
that's
of
what I was going to
things,
say. I was going to say that you have to set the playing field for you to walk on, right?
right?
And it's your responsibility actually to go out there and scout the land, you know what I'm saying, and lay it with the structure that you need in order for you to able to bounce on that structure and actually put the fundamental things in place for you to do so, right? It is for you to actually go out there and start pulling up weeds, you know what I'm saying, and cultivating part of the land, you know what I'm saying, and planting things over here and planting things over here, you know what I'm saying, and even using certain things on that land for exchange so you can actually have economical wealth in order to keep building on that system or even create other systems of similarities, right? And it's not about, all these big wins that people talking about because a lot of these things, yes, they may come fast and they may come swift. Like you'll see people that call themselves drug dealers, or you see people that call themselves rappers and things of that nature actually make swift incomes, right? Some of them might have been in the studio for years and then came out, but some of them just actually just came instant gratification off of YouTube or Instagram stars and things of that nature. So when this happens, this instant gratification, it moves swiftly out of people's lives. It's an in and out thing. One minute you have it, the next minute you don't, right?
Right,
And what happens when that becomes your win for life? When you create your win for life from materialisms, what actually happens to you when no materialisms actually vanish, or which is some of the most basically detrimental things to actually consider is that when people get to a point where they don't care about those things anymore. Like they
yes.
have all these things, all these possessions, they did all these things in their lives to attain these things, and they come to a point saying, you know what, these things no longer matter, right? And this is a space where you really have to start contemplating and understanding like what really matters for you in this time if those things that you attach yourself to no longer have that meaningful purpose that they had when you was first exploring them, right?
And
And that, yeah,
sometimes I think about my own life and the wins that I have had in my life. And I have come to understand for me that some of the things that I desired when I was younger, that if I had actually attained those things at that time, it would not have been good for me. And it would not have been good for me because of my mindset. See, if I had obtained, say, and this is just an arbitrary figure, $10 million when I was 21 years old. That 21, with my mindset at 21 years, would not have been conducive to me maximizing that $10 million for my good and for the good of others. When my mindset at 21 years old, if I had that win at that time, it would have went into clothes. It would have went into jewelry. It would have went into material things that would have been easily lost. And I wouldn't have been thinking about how I could help benefit others with that $10 million. I would only have been thinking about myself and the things that I could, material things that I could achieve. So I see that that would not have been good for me at that time. It would have been good in a sense because my mindset would have been that I could buy all of these clothes. So that would have been a good thing. But the way I think today, and so this shows us that what a win at 21 would have been a win, and that same win today, how it will be used differently. If I received that $10 million today, it would not be it will not be all about me. So I understand.
You had to send me half.
You say, wait a minute, Nathaniel, don't forget about your partner.
Yeah. Most times say the day of wealth, and the day of your wealth, do not forget your friends.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You know, it's things like that, you know, like that could be a win of a person that they don't forget those that their loved ones, you know, they
That's
don't forget
right.
those that they help them build in their most delicate aspects of their lives. You know, people forget those times of darkness that takes place in their lives where people just come and tap you on the shoulder or maybe whisper something to you, or actually come and say, you know, I brought you a coffee today so we can sit down and talk in the park. You know, basic, simple elements that people forget are actually the true enrichments of friendship, true enrichments of family.
Those are wins. Those are
Those are
those are
wins.
great wins.
Those are wins. Those are things that allow you to manifest many elements of your life and who you really are within, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? From that explosiveness of our hearts and our spirit, and even the coursing of our blood is actually life itself. And we actually learn from Cain and Abel, you know what I'm saying, that the blood is life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, when we start learning these things and really start tapping back into those things, you know what I mean? That heart, that mind, that soul, right? That allow us to walk away from things that entrap us, you know, to free us from who we are and to allow us to reconnect, right, to who we are for the purpose of being who we are. Right? I am that I am, and that's all that I am. And it's actually relearning those gifts about who you really are, right? Not what is perceived to be who you are. Like if I get an 800 credit score, that's amazing. I can go buy a truck or even a fleet of trucks and create my own Uber-like type service, right? But is that me? You know, like, well, I want my face on every Uber car that's every car that I create that's driving down the road. I don't really think so, right? Well, I want to actually turn into a car when it's time for me to transition and come back. You know, I don't really think I actually want to turn into a car either, right? So there are
Right.
things that's, you know, I'm seeking to, you know, strive to understand and to possess. But at the same token, I really don't want any of those things to possess me, right? They are there, you know, I know they're there. I'm gonna play with them because they're there. It's like me having a toy. I'm gonna play with this new toy, this new concept, this new vision, right? This new explorative, you know what I'm saying, wave that actually overtook me and actually pushed me in a whole other direction I never even thought about before, right? Let me explore this like I would explore, my video games or this new iPhone 14 that I just purchased, and all these different things that we actually obtain into as existential components of who we are to make us who we are,
Right.
right? And is that your win, right? Are you actually just this metaphysical individual that seeks to use your metaphysical essence and power to obtain things that others have created for the purpose of wealth and also recognition? Like,
Right.
is this your legacy? Is this your ultimate truth about who you are and what you are? And is this the win that you actually seek when you out here in the world, right? Because
Right.
so
And
many.
and 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 Nathaniel, you're talking about that. It puts win on a whole different level of thinking, because we are in this society, we're taught that a win may is a big house, a big fine car. But when you delve into it on that level of understanding, that whenever you even start to explore who you are, that's a win. When you start to think and go on that journey of learning yourself, and each time that you learn something about yourself that is powerful and how powerful you are, that's a win. And no one may be able to see it in a material way. They can only see it in your actions.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You actually gonna go and you're gonna throw yourself to the wind, so to speak, right? And it's gonna say you're gonna throw yourself in a pile of rubbish, right? And you're gonna make all this rubbish, right, to be the essence of who you are, right? But then you realize that the pile of rubbish, and you actually go and you look at deadly hurricanes that actually went through the land. You know what I'm saying? Tornadoes and things of that nature that went through the land and destroyed beautiful homes with all type of different artifacts and different rubbishes that actually is basically gathered in those spaces, right? And then you realize that these things mean nothing, right? When you turn 80 and when you turn 90, you know what I'm saying? You like your niece coming over, you like your granny's coming over, say, hey, you can take that vase with you. You know what I'm saying? When you leave, because I don't need them. I've been looking at that thing for 40 years and I'm tired of seeing it. Somebody else could use it now. Somebody else could look at it now, right? You'll start seeing that it's levels of disconnect that you have to all these things that you accumulated, right? And that's when you're able to start finding other meanings for your life than those things. Like, yeah, explore them, buy them, you know what I mean? Play with them, do whatever you want to do with them, right? You know, but learn the lesson of them as well,
And
right? Learn all the
right.
lessons that come from those things and what they really mean on the back end, you know what I mean, of your life, or even on the front end of your life. What do those things represent and constitute for who you are?
And Nathaniel, when you were talking about the rubble, I was thinking about how sometimes in our lives we become that rubble, through the tornadoes and the hurricanes that come through our lives and destroy us and lay us low. And we come up out of that with a whole new appreciation for life, for the things that really matter in life. And sometimes those tornadoes and those hurricanes come through and destroy certain things in order for us to elevate. What do we do? What
Yeah,
do we build out of that rubbish? What
yeah.
wins do we achieve through that rubbish?
Yeah, we get to that moment, that moment, like, oh man, like, oh, that's what it is. I wasn't even paying attention, but that's what it is right there. I can see it. You know what I'm saying? It's hovering somewhere, but if I apply myself more, I can actually grasp it. Or maybe they don't want to be grabbed, they just want to peek at me and let me know that it exists. That moment, right? it's this thing that brings us to a higher awareness, and we start learning from our mistakes or from our mishaps. You know what I'm saying? Or even from what we call our misjudgments while we're learning. I think that it's important, very essential, to not judge ourselves as we're elevating through our different changes to find the wins for our own individual and our personal lives. Right?
Yes.
We may
Yes.
seek to fall in by wearing the same sneakers and jacket until we actually find ourselves in a lineup, you know what I'm saying, for that jacket, and we ain't actually do no crime. Right?
Right.
So it's just like, it's understanding, the cause of conformity, right? And also understanding the cause of individualism, right? They
Right.
both have their pros and cons to it. And we're in a world where, the Bible, the Quran, and other different type of biblical texts actually speaks about the awareness of the body and the spirit, right? And
That's
even
right.
some of these
That's right.
and even some of these actually texts, they actually speaks about the warring aspect between the flesh and the spirit, of how these two components are actually arch enemies, right? From birth. Like they've been arch enemies from the womb. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, yo, listen, bro, you fall back when we get out here and let me lead the way. Right. And the other one's like, nah, you don't got it all together. You know what I'm saying? You're just like a little frisky opponent. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me lead the way. I'm the spiritual God. You know what I'm saying? And while you let me tap into my spirit, the other spiritual God that connected to my spiritual God is going to allow me to guide us successfully, you know what I'm saying, from all these different mazes that's actually been connected to us before we came out into the world. Right. And imagine this metaphysical conversation that you're having with yourself, where you actually see the formulation of how you're actually destined to be a new passage, to actually create new pathways in the land for others to enjoy, explore, you know what I'm saying, and find new abundances of life.
Yes. And Nathaniel, I want to say right here that I want to make clear to our audience that we're not saying that money, having a lot of money isn't good, that having a great fine house isn't good, that having material things is not a good thing, and that we should completely shun those things. But what we're saying is, do not let your possessions own you. You should own your possessions, and everything that you possess of a lot of money, those should be in service to you.
Yeah, I
And
think it's a confusion. I think a lot of people have confusions when people actually speaks about money and he speaks about, not allowing money to control you and things of that nature. It's not saying that you're not supposed to have money. Money is an essential in this element that we're living in. We can't forget what element we live in, and we can't forget what structures present themselves. I talk sometimes, that's why a lot of time I appreciate Jeannie is really no disrespect though. But I actually talk to older women and older men and stuff like that, and they be like, "Oh, I ain't trying to deal nothing with technology. I don't want to know nothing about no new phone or even how to use a computer and all these different things like that." And I'm saying, it's highway robbery, right? To basically deny yourself the benefits, you know what I'm saying, of a cultural growing society, right? To not learn how to use all these different mechanisms that's actually been presented to you, where you connect with your friends and family and loved ones, you know what I'm saying? Also to explore yourself and reach hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people by actually making one post or making one video. You never know what happens in your life and when it's actually gonna happen, right? But it's actually creating that pathway, that doorway of tapping in and say, well, this is the new technology, and I need to know what that is, right? This,
yes, yes. And Nathaniel, I want to share this with you and with our audience, because to me, what you're just saying is so profound, because a lot of older people think that when they reach a certain age, and this is when is your win? So this is dealing with that. Your win may come at 75. Your win may come at 80. Your win may come, or that big win, because your whole life is based on a lot of small wins. I'm using myself as an example because I really, at one time, didn't want to embrace technology. I didn't want to learn about computers. I didn't want to, but I realized how much I would be depriving myself of by not learning, by not each win. When I learned how to turn on a computer, that was a win for me. Just learning how to turn it on, learning, that was the beginning, because a starting point in me really going into where I am with Nathaniel today. I wouldn't be here if I didn't embrace learning how to do a podcast. And I want to share with you this, Nathaniel. You have inspired me to go back to school.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
You have inspired me because you have gone back to school to get your master's, and I just see doctor in front of your name. So I know once you get your master's that God willing, that you will go on to get your doctorate.
Oh,
I
definitely, definitely.
Yes,
Without
and that
question.
inspired me to
Yeah.
and so I will be starting school in the fall.
Ah, that's what's up, Jeannie. That is amazing. That is amazing. And these, and I look at it, when Jeannie and I was actually talking about this topic, and it's supposed to be, when is your win? When is your win twice? Win supposed to be not the same written twice, but then I was like, let me look at it and we could play the semantical games, what I'm saying, with this concept. And the wins is actually you taking charge of your life. You know, you finding value in your life beyond that of people, places, or things, right? You can attach yourself to anything that's in this world, right? And we see that there's a gift that many people call it a curse, but it's a gift that most of the things that we attach ourselves to in this world, we will be detached from in one way or another,
Yes.
right? And it is our perpetual learning lesson for us, to understand that there is no fixture. We're not even the fixtures of the world. We're transitional, we're metaphorical, and we're spiritual and pure nature, and we're pure energy, right? And as we're moving through this world, our energy attracts itself to other energies. Our energy manipulates the form of other energies. Our energy dominate the concepts of other energies that may be inside the rooms, right? Our energies are power, they are truth, and they are substance that actually guide us, you know what I'm saying, to our ways of achievement or even sometimes to our way of demise. So it's understanding, that these are all gifts to us in the way that we apply them. You know what I'm saying? They will ensure that we have this glorious foundation that we all seek, that we call in the world to be peace, right?
Yes.
I had $100 million, I would be at peace, right? If I had this, I would be at peace. If I had that, I would be at peace, right? And then we take our peace and we attach it to something that really has no meaning, right? If my name blows up, Nathaniel Evans blows up in certain arenas, like, hey, this is who he is. We need to know this guy, right? People need to ask themselves a question. What would be the purpose of you bestowing your energy upon me or anyone in that matter in a space of worship or to idolize? Like, what would be the point of that? What would me or the other person do with this raw, unadulterated energy that you bestowed upon them?
Okay, I want to ask you a question, Nathaniel, because I know on that subject.
You don't even ask questions, Jeannie. What's going on? You don't ask no questions. What's happening around here?
This is a question I have for you about the Bible.
Let's go.
In the Bible, is there anywhere that Jesus said, "Worship me, idolize me"?
No, nah.
Yeah, no, yeah. He said, "Follow me," right?
Jesus Christ, I call him Christ or Yahweh Shah or whatever name, but Christ made it impeccably clear to everyone that read the scriptures. Clearly, I'm not here for my business, but for that of my Father's. When he went to do things, he did not pray to himself. When you seen him praying, he's praying to his Father. My Father will be done. He constantly said these same concepts over and over and over again in scriptures. There's not one scripture where Christ, Jesus, whatever name you want to call him, stated for anyone to worship him. He states things that I think is a misconception when he states that those that come through me will actually be connected to the Father.
Okay, stop right there. I want to say this. Let me say this. Okay.
But hold on. As another
okay, go ahead.
I want to connect to that scripture. Is another scripture that also states that Christ says that those that my Father has given to me, no one can pluck out of my hands. Right? So one scripture clearly defines the other scripture. So when you're looking at both scriptures and you put them side by side, they both come together in a puzzle, basically a puzzle-like form. The Bible is created in parables. It's not created in speaking or basically reading it verbatim. It's actually created in a puzzle-like parable type form. Line by line, sentence by sentence, jot by jot. That's basically how. So you got to find pieces that connect to understand what the actually true message, actually what it states. So he's showing you, he's telling you that my Father has given me a gift of righteousness to claim and to basically protect others that walk with me in this path that I've seen walk with me in spiritual form, not just directly, but just in spiritual form and who they are and what they are, what they represent in the world, that my Father has given me these entities to protect and actually also rule with me in the land, right? Rule with me in the land. He also tells you many times in scriptures that he sits on the right-hand side of his Father. He can't sit on the right-hand side of himself. He has to sit on the right-hand side of his Father. So when he's saying that those that come through me, those come through me to get to the Father, what he's saying is that the emulation of righteousness that he actually projected and portrayed in the world is what you also must do, and also to be connected to him through the Father. It's not telling you to come, it's not telling you to worship him for the Father, right? It's not telling you that. It's telling you it's like basically understanding and paying homage to your ancestors, right? You have billions of ancestors that you have to pay homage to for you to even be right here at this space right now. You can't worship your ancestors, but you can pay respect to your ancestors.
Nathaniel, okay. Thank you for that, because I see Christ, Jesus Christ, as he had a mindset. His mindset was the same as his Father, our Creator, the one God.
Yeah,
he was in harmony. He was in total harmony with his Father. He was following his Father. And you can get to the creator by following the same
examples
examples that he is
they're
giving.
spiritual
That's
God.
why.
They're spiritual. He's in the if we look at it metaphorically, right? It is a spiritual example God for life. It's actually like going to college and get a syllabus, right? It lets you know exactly what's going on and how you need to move forward, right? So this is a spiritual God, right, of energy, of pure, unadulterated energy that, if applied or even found, you know what I mean, on the smallest molecule, it would change and alter your life forever, right?
Yes. And
And
it's so
this,
beautiful.
this
It's
is
so
what it is.
beautiful.
It's just the beauty of
Jesus.
it. It just find the beauty of it. It's not the control of it, right? It's not the possession of it, right? It's the find of it and then the release of it. The find of it and then the release of it. That's what it is, right? That's the glory of it, right? To and I know people sometimes laugh at me on this podcast, and it's cool, but I'm like,
It's okay.
and I'm like, when you look at it, it's like, just imagine that you're in this, dancing spirit, right? And you just going on a block and you just dancing in your vibration. And everybody go by and start dancing too, right? Imagine this energy, right? And imagine this pure element of a life force, right? That just waiting there patiently, right? Just to grab hold of you and let you know that, yo, bro, there's some amazing things going on out here. And I want to show them to you and share them with you. And let me be your guide, right? It's one of the most profound scriptures that was in the Bible, right? And there's many different passages and things of that nature. But one of the most profound scriptures that stood out to me in the scriptures is when the rich man came to Christ and said, I've done all those righteous things that you have asked of me. I've given to the poor, I've been taking care of my family, I've built communities, I worship the Most High. All these things that makes a man or a person a good person in the eyes of the Most High. I've done those things. And Christ looked at his spirit and said, you have not lied. What you have said, you've done all those things. But there's one more thing you got to do. And if you do that thing, you can follow me directly back to the Father, right? For your blessings. And the man said, anything you ask me to do, I'm going to do it. And Christ said, give away all your riches and follow me. And the man said, I can't do it. Then Christ said, then you have not done all those things, and you have not learned an example by you doing all those things, and what do all those things actually mean at the end of them all? What is the intentional purpose of doing all those things? And you must find intentional purposes of doing these things, so when the true example or even the blessing of those things come to you to give you a reward, that you're in a position of awareness to see it and embrace it, and not be like the rich man that had possessed all things and done all things righteously to get to his blessing, only to deny it because he did not realize it was his blessing.
Oh, now that is such a beautiful narration, because sometimes we're put in a position of making a choice, and all of life is a choice. All of life is a choice. We make choices every day. And then when we make these different choices, there comes things attached to these choices. And we have to say, do I want to assume the responsibility of what will come with this choice. Now that rich man, he wanted all of that. He wanted to be like Christ. He wanted to follow Christ. But he saw that if he made that choice, all he could see was he would be giving up all of his luxuries without sometimes I see we're choices are put in front of us that we may see it in one way, but just having that mindset of I'm willing to do this. If he had just been willing to do this, if he had just been,
He'd have had to do it. See, that's the one thing that there was no choice. And that's what I try to say. Like, when you go to that parable, when you actually go to that parable, there was only a yes or no answer.
but that's a choice. That's a choice.
Yeah,
You either choose yes
there was no
or no.
There was no in between. So when we're looking at these spaces and we're actually talking about forgiveness from the Most High, right? In order to be able to transition past things that hinder us from growing, and this physical form is actually a hindrance of our growth, right? We cannot bust out of this physical form when we want to and actually present our spiritual selves. But people
and that's what I was saying, Nathaniel. You have a yes choice. He could have said yes and had all the blessings that went with that. And he said no. So he made a choice.
Yeah, he made a choice. And at the end of the day, wealth is a beautiful thing to obtain. And there's nothing wrong with it, as Jeannie and I said from the beginning. But when you're looking at a parable such as this one, right? Allow it, you know what I'm saying, to make way into your heart so you can actually see the true message of what it means, what it actually entails for that particular soul in that particular time. That particular soul, imagine, was never able to redeem itself from making that decision. Imagine.
Right. And so we're talking about wins.
Yeah.
We're talking about when is your win.
Yeah, that's
win.
right. That's right. So
win.
that was a win for him because it presented itself to him on the highest magnitude in the world. It was one of the most golden gifts that can actually be presented to any of us that we can ask for in this existence. And we got to know when to be able to snatch that moment when it comes, you know what I'm saying, and ride that wave, right? Because once he said no, Christ no longer spoke to him about it. He said what he wanted to say, and then he moved on, and he never revisited that again, right? And now, where did he go back to? What did this rich man go back to? He go back to people worshiping him for being a rich man. He goes back to him buying miscellaneous things throughout his life to ensure that people will always know that he's a rich man. He's going to buy more meat than he needs, more cheese, more fish, and all these different things, right, to make up for that resonating no that taunted him probably even for centuries, right? So,
Wow.
It's understanding, you know what I mean? When you deny yourself the wins of your own life, right? This is your hell. This comes back to you all the time. It's like a recurring nightmare. It's always reminding you, like, what is going on, bro? Why did you even make that decision? Now, look what the consequences we got to go through, and we got to try to start these things all over again. This is this intricate conversation that you're having with yourself, right? And you always having with yourself. It's purposeful and it's intentional because it's designed to ensure that you become the best version of yourself in all things that you do and how you do it.
Nathaniel, I want to revisit something you said earlier. You said some people may laugh at you and that some people, have probably personally let you know, Nathaniel, you're off the chart. You're off the, But I want to say this to you. I want to say this to everyone that is in the sound of my voice. that you're not going to be everybody's flavor. You're not, some people like vanilla ice cream and some people like chocolate. Now, for whatever reason. So it's okay. But I'm chocolate, and I uh will spoon up to you uh the concepts in life that I have come to. Same with Nathaniel in his growth and his development. It will resonate with some people, and some people, their hearts and minds are closed to whatever we say, you know, just like the rich man. He missed it. He missed it. Some people, there may be some people that Christ came to and gave that kind of choice to,
And they took
and
it.
they understood and they accepted it and they went on. But it's okay, because we all have to deal with our choices in life. You may choose to listen to what Nathaniel and I say and laugh at it. It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. And it's like Jeannie said, and this topic is in a correlation to Jeannie's company is also, freedom to live, right? You know, you win is when you start to choose you. All these things that we have placed in front of ourselves in this world. Every time I go, like, and I always say, every time I go and do a cleanup at somebody's house, I might pass away and stuff like that. I always think about all these things that's in this space. And then I think about me accumulating all these things in my life. And then all these things is basically just given away because I can no longer protect these things with my shotgun that's in the corner. Right. And it's not the meaning of your life. I don't know. I don't know how to say it to people. I don't know. This podcast is called I'm a Data. This is all about you, right? As a person, when you listen to our conversations that Jeannie and I have, and you dissect it, you'll see that it's all directed towards you as an individual to understand that you are in the driver's seat, you are in control, you are worthy, you are dignified, you know what I'm saying? You are purposeful, you are intentional, and you are the truth, right? And we evaluate ourselves according to things that we can crush under our foot, that we can take and we can throw out the window. I was watching a video one time and a guy had brought a Tesla, and I think the battery died. And the battery, I think, cost him like 20,000 to fix the engine or something. Yeah, like
Oh,
it cost him like 20,000 to fix the engine and stuff. So the man said, you know what, man, I know I should have bought this thing in the first place. So he torched the whole Tesla.
wow.
He torched it. So you can just
Wow.
see this beautiful black piece of metal, right, just burning. Right, it's no longer
Wow.
a Tesla anymore. It's a piece of metal that's burning, right? And when it's finished with it, you can be able to break it up, discard it, right, and get rid of it like it never exists. It doesn't even matter at the end of the day. And that's
Wow.
basically what he was showing to people, that when you buy something of value and the value of that change, devalue it because the value of that change. And don't allow yourself to be valued by the value of something that you put value on and you purchase in your own life.
Right.
That's basically what the moral of the story was about, burning that Tesla and basically burning anything else that has lost its value for your life, to make you think that you're not the winner in your life and you're not the purpose that your life is seeking.
Right. Thank you for that, Nathaniel. I thank our audience for being here today. And we pray that something that we have said will be of value to you, that will help elevate you to another level, another frequency. Nathaniel and I are all about love. we understand that it is love that is the highest vibrational level.
Close rockets, y'all. Close rockets. See, things like that.
And you know what? And I have meant to
See?
come back to that throughout this whole podcast. Close Rikers. Nathaniel is dedicating a lot of energy into that for the very, and we need to do a podcast, a whole podcast on why it is important that Rikers close, because as you say, it's not it goes into a spiritual, it's more than just
Yeah. I was telling you about Nancy Sakura that's on my page, and a friend of mine that I actually went to Albany with a couple of weeks ago. I'm actually going to set a podcast with her next week that she actually focused on Rikers Island, actually closing Rikers Island, and actually looking at her fundamental steps in this journal, and actually what it means to actually be a change agent, to be a leader, right, in these spaces, and not allowing, you know, structure to determine if you're a leader or not, but actually taking that presence of being a leader and moving with that energy in the world to create who you are fundamentally. So you won't easily snap in the world when things come to challenge the fundamental parts of who you are. You have to build on those things to protect yourselves from any sledgehammers that actually come your way to try to break down your resolve. Keep it moving.
Thank you, Nathaniel. I look forward to meeting her
Yeah,
and having a conversation with her.
I'm gonna contact
And
you. So we're gonna do it next week.
okay, great. I look forward to that.
And we might have. I'm probably gonna try to see if I can bring a couple more guests with her that actually specializes in this field, and that
Okay.
that would actually be essential for our audience of people, and to actually look at some of the social issues that actually pertain to our lives, are even connected to our fundamental components of who we are as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, audience, for being here with us. We are going to transition into
The Matrix.
a space of peace and calmness. I would like everyone, if you're in a safe environment
Yes.
and you feel comfortable, to close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Yes. We're going to breathe. We're going to breathe. I want everyone to take a deep breath to the count of 4. Let it out slowly through your mouth as though you're breathing through a straw. Let's breathe. Another breath. Another breath. Relax the top of your head. Relax. Relax your forehead. Relax your face. Let those muscles relax. Come on down into your neck. Move your head. Relax your neck. Oh, yes. Relax. Relax your shoulders. Let them drop. Let your shoulders drop. Relax. Moving down your arms. Relax your arms. Your fingers, your hands. Wiggle those fingers. Wiggle. Oh, that feels good. Relax. Move on down your body, relaxing as you go. Relax. 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 Move down your thighs. Relax. On down to your calves. Relax. Yes. Your feet. Wiggle your feet. That's right. Now wiggle your toes. Relax. Take a deep breath. I am going to count backwards from 5 to 1 and take another deep breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. Now open your eyes. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Peace and
Peace, love.
blessings.